Today I thought we'd take a look at an old scene that I did character layouts for, practically animating on a Simpson show back in 1990. And this was, I don't even know, I guess it's show 3. And in the scene, Bart is showing Martin how to ride a bike and do a wheelie. And so here's the scene. It's all stapled together here. This is part of the background that we sent over. All this art was sent over to Korea to be animated. Another piece of background. And this is the A section of the background. So this is the beginning of the background, and it goes that way. So the first drawing is Bart on his bicycle. So these are all my drawings. I did layouts for this. And this is basically his antic pose. He goes up on the bike, and he leans down forward. And then the next pose is, if I can just peel the paper away here to show you. Sorry about the delay. Now he rears back up on the bike. And then he pulls the bike up. And now he's into doing the wheelie. Now his next pose, we wanted to have him turn. So he's there, and then he's here. He turns on the bike. Then he turns back. And then after that pose, he turns away from camera, continues turning, turns to profile, and then he comes down to the ground, and now he starts to stop, and now he's into stopping, and he gets off the bike. And there he is getting off the bike, putting one leg down, and he stands there. He should have had his hand holding the bike because I didn't put a kickstand on that bike. Now, at the time, Martin is on his bike about to try to do the same thing, and Bart puts his hands up and says, "No, no, no, stop." And he walks over, takes off the basket and the bell from Martin's bike and throws them off camera. And says, "Okay, now try it." And the next drawing is Bart watching Martin go by. And we hear Martin crash off screen, so Bart reacts to that. And then he opens one eye and looks. Now, let's go back. Here's Martin on his bike watching Bart. And Bart comes back and says, "Okay, you try it." Martin looks down. And he looks up. Because Bart has just taken the basket and the bell off. He smiles a little bit. And then off he goes, riding away. And he goes off on his bike to off screen. The fielding for this shot was 10 field center, and it was scene 180. Now the sheets for this, I did the final timing for it. I did the animatic timing, which is here in this column, and these columns here. This indicates pans. This is panning the background, top peg. Pan starts here on frame 5. These increments are tenths of an inch. So it starts off 2/10 of an inch, 3/10 of an inch, 5/10 of an inch, and it slows down to 3 and 2, and it stops. We've panned a total of 4.5 inches, I believe. And we're now at 1.5 inches left of center peg B. These are frame counts, frame number counts. Then we want to pan the top peg over, pan the bottom peg over just a little bit. We're going to stop our bottom peg move here. Our top peg keeps going and it stops there. These are the animatic drawings I did of Bart. And as you can see, they're pretty tightly spaced there. And they get more here, all the way down. Martin, we don't see at first, but then we see him when we pan back over on his bike. And then Martin starts to look down. Bart takes the bell and the basket off. Martin makes a reaction and starts to go. And this is where he pedals off screen. This is Bart reacting to Martin pedaling off screen. So I did final timing for this, which is writing down what's going on. As you see, we have a real tiny action column. I don't know why these people did this. They needed to have this extend here and put this dialogue and stuff here. But they insisted on having columns for the animators on the sheet. So this took up a ton of space. This took up a ton of space. We had no space to write our action here. So I timed this Bart pedaling. If I was doing this now, I would actually put small drawings here of his feet on the pedals going around and around. Here he picks up, does this wheelie. He turns the bike to camera, get to pose B5, turns around to B6. B7 happens here. He's still pedaling, puts the bike down. He's in his stop pose and he blinks. Puts on the brakes, skids to a stop, kicks up some dust. He gets off the bike. Hello, kitty, do you have to be here now? I know it's real exciting to see a camera and an exposure sheet. This is what you live for. Yes, I was outside petting a dog. That's what you smell on my hand. Come on, kitty. Come on. So he puts down the kickstand. I guess I did write that at least. He stands next to the bike looking at Martin. Sorry about that. And Martin has to put his foot on his bike pedal. Bart walks over to Martin. This is where Bart puts his hands up and down. He's doing that type of motion to tell him don't go yet. He walks over to Martin, arms up, arms bent back a little bit, arms up to grab the bell and the basket. Martin looks down, drawing M3. Bart grabs the basket and the bell. He has to loosen the straps. He makes a small antic move and throws them off screen. Takes a step back, still looking at Martin. Martin looks up. Martin smiles. Bart blinks. That was Martin blinks, I'm sorry. Bart turns to watch Martin go by, puts arms down. Bart blinks. He reacts. And we want to hold the pose, pulls his arm in closer, opens his left eye on ones really slowly. And that's the end of the scene. So this is what we used to do on Simpsons. We would do these rough drawings for layout, and then animators would do the final animation and cleanup based on what we told them needed to be animated. How many in-betweens to put in, we would tell them how many in-betweens to put in. So that's one of my relics of doing character animation, character layout on Simpsons. I was one of the assistant directors in season 2 to David Silverman. That was a long time ago. Anyway, we'll go through the scene again in more detail in the next video. So until then, keep drawing, keep animating, and keep having fun.